Hi there, thanks for tuning in again. Well, here we just finished Thanksgiving, so I thought this was a good time to give you a few tips from our family on surviving the holidays. So I'll probably do another short segment right around Christmas time, but we just finished Thanksgiving. Thankfully, this Thanksgiving actually went really well. I think we got a little bit lucky, but we did some pre-planning in advance as well and some things during the day. So I wanted to share some of the tips that this time seemed to work really well with our family, and hope maybe some of these tips work well for you and yours as well. So coming up, I'll give you 5 tips on how to survive the holidays. All right, tip number 1 would be situational awareness. So more specifically, thinking about in advance where you're going to be. So obviously you want to make sure that it's a place that's conducive to your child or your loved one on the autism spectrum. I know Dylan sometimes can get very frustrated if he feels claustrophobic, if there's too many people around him. So a place where he can kind of go by himself and be away from the crowd or from the chatter or the laughter is a really good idea. Dylan can also sometimes get into things or be destructive. So thankfully, I'm blessed with a very loving family who's very compassionate and understanding of Dylan across the board. I'm very, very thankful for that. I know a lot of people aren't that lucky, but thankfully we knew we were going to Grandma's house, and Grandma is very happy to have Dylan there and not terribly anxious about him getting into things. So takes a lot of stress off of me and makes Dylan's time there very enjoyable as well.
Yeah, he's got his
Happy
iPad.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving time.
So do a little bit of pre-planning around the situation that you're going to put your child or your loved one in, and make sure that it's conducive for them, their disabilities, their needs. And if it's not, then make a change of plans. Maybe don't go. I know that's not always easy to do, but there's been times when I know that it's not a good idea to take Dylan out somewhere or to a particular person's house. So sometimes we'll just do an alternative and have a small group come to us instead. And there's been a time or two when we've gone and things don't go well and we leave early, Dylan and I, and sometimes my dad, and unfortunately that's the way it goes. But as much pre-planning as you can do around the situation and being prepared for it and ensuring it's going to be conducive for not only yourself, your family as well, and your child or your loved one is my first big tip. Okay, tip number 2, that would be to make sure that everybody gets plenty of rest. Not only you, but your child or your loved one as well. So as much rest in advance that you can get. Obviously, everybody's in a better mood, stress is less, and we tend to all tolerate it a little bit better. Thankfully, this time we had a few extra days off from school leading up to Thanksgiving this week, and that seemed to work out really well. So Dylan was pretty well rested for an autistic child. He actually slept in a time or two this week prior to Thanksgiving, which was really nice. Didn't really go to bed early, but he did sleep in, and that helped as well. So I got him up on his own time Thanksgiving morning, and we took our time to get ready. He was reasonably well rested, and we proceeded to go to Grandma's house for Thanksgiving. All right, tip number 3 from our family. Tip number 3 would be to pack a go bag. And for Dylan, this includes things like snacks, some of his personal favorite things. I brought a bag of microwave popcorn. I brought some goldfish. I brought some of his Capri Sun juices. I brought his tablet from his grandparents' house, the other house. I'm trying to remember what else I brought in his go bag. Oh, I also brought a tapping toy, because if you've watched previous videos of Dylan, you know that Dylan likes to pace a lot and he likes to tap a toy a lot. Grandma actually already had one for him when we arrived, which was a bonus for Dylan, but I brought one just in case.
Not really. That black thing that goes inside. It's a lot of those to sit here and holler.
So part of the reason that I bring snacks that I know Dylan will like is we just really never know what his mood's going to be around trying new foods or trying something out of his ordinary. We got lucky this time. Dylan actually tried some pumpkin pie. He had a couple of slices of pumpkin pie. It was really cute. He really liked the filling of the pumpkin pie, but left the crust behind. But he did try pumpkin pie, and he was really curious about Grandma's sweet potatoes. And he actually ate quite a bit of sweet potatoes, which is really good for him. So as opposed to at least a bag of popcorn, which he also ate anyway. But we were happy with that. He tried a few new things, and he asked for some chicken later, which of course was turkey, but he ate a little bit of turkey, and he was really pretty good about trying some new things. I didn't force him, kind of let him try it at his own pace or ask for it whenever he was ready. There was a couple of times he took his food and drink outside, and I think that's okay. I gave him the space that he needed to do that. But he was really pretty happy. The go bag was definitely needed that day, and it worked out really well. All the things that he wanted or needed, I brought with us. All right, tip number 4 would be to, in my opinion, don't make your child or loved one conform to your traditions or the way you think that they should behave on that particular day. I think my opinion is be happy with good behavior or positive behavior. And I don't particularly worry about whether he participates in the blessing with everybody. I let him pace, and we, participate from the side. I don't make him sit at a particular table, be terribly neat when he eats. There's a picture here of Dylan, even, like I said, eating his food outside for a little while, and that's okay too. So my tip to you would allow them their space, allow them to be themselves as much as possible. They'll be comfortable, you'll be less stressed out, and everyone will generally, hopefully, enjoy the time together much more. All right, and the last big tip number 5, that would be just really probably something you already know, but it's really important to me, and it's something that seems like I do constantly, as well as some of my family that's with Dylan helps a lot. We watch for the cues for him to be ready to go. And if he's ready to go, then we go ahead and pack up and go, because there's no sense in pushing it. This Thanksgiving, we were lucky. He was actually happy and content for about almost 2.5 hours, which is probably the longest we've been able to enjoy a large family get together like that in quite some time. So I was very, very thankful for that. But as soon as he was ready to go, we packed up our things and we went back to Mommy's house, and he was able to kind of calm down, decompress a little bit in a much quieter, very familiar space. So that worked out really well. So that would be my last big tip for you. All right, I hope you found these tips to be helpful, and I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, whether it was with a large group of family or friends or just you and your immediate family, your child or your loved one. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I count my blessings, and I'm sure you do as well. So now we have about 3.5 weeks to get ready for Christmas, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet, but we already have the Christmas decorations out, and it's coming whether we like it or not. So we'll be sure and apply these 5 tips at least prior to Christmas, and I'll see if I can come up with any more helpful tips for you at Christmas time as well, and I'll share those in a future video. All right, as always, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already clicked subscribe, be sure and do that here below. There's a couple of video links you might be interested in as well. And please share this video and my channel with anyone else that you know that might see some value in this information as well. And until next time, have a great weekend. Thank you.